Hello everybody, it's that time of the year again. Marching band contest is over, region auditions are over, Christmas is around the corner, and it's time for you to choose your solo and ensemble music. Have you chosen your solo yet? If not, I've got a few pointers for you about how to choose the most beneficial piece for you, the most appropriate piece for you. We're going to talk about two basic parts of my method for choosing a great solo. Now, I'm going to be speaking specifically to Texans. Here in Texas, we have a UIL body, University Interscholastic League, that kind of controls what solos you can play for the contest and what you can't play. So I'm going to be speaking specifically about solo and ensemble contest in the state of Texas, but the basic concepts do apply to other states, but the terms you might use in other states might be a little different. So now, first what we want to do is establish the difference between region auditions and solo and ensemble contest. The main difference between region and solo and ensemble is that the music you're playing for region is a test and not the final objective. So on the region auditions, they're testing you to see if you make the grade to get into the all-region band, and then after that into the all-state band. So the etudes you work on for that purpose are not your final objective. The music you play in the band is your final objective. That's the opposite of solo and ensemble contest. The stuff you play in solo and ensemble contest is the final objective, and I believe that this makes those two kinds of contests completely different from each other. Okay? So in solo and ensemble contest, we get to choose which songs we want to play. Now, maybe your band director chooses your song for you, but if you have the freedom to choose your own song or work with a teacher and choose a song, your private lesson teacher, then these points will help you a lot. Now, the first point I want to make is that you should choose your music according to what sounds good to you. Don't choose your music with your eyes, choose your music with your ears. This is probably the most important point. And I know that a lot of people will disagree with me right off from the beginning of this. A lot of people use the solo and ensemble music as a proverbial carrot before the donkey, trying to motivate their students to grow to the next level. I don't agree with that concept for my students, and the reason is we grow in our lessons to the next level with other materials. I have an entire canon of materials that I've run them through for the purpose of growing to the next level. And that frees us up to use the music for solo and ensemble contest as a legitimate piece for performance. So when my students go to solo and ensemble contest, they're there to express themselves musically. We want to find a piece of music that perfectly resonates with that student's personality, musical personality and personal personality. So, and the only way to do that is to pick the music according to what sounds good to the student. Now, this is important because when the student likes how the music sounds, not only is it something that matches their personality better, which I've already covered, but it also motivates them to practice more. I think students who have their personality lined with their music, they're always much more motivated to do the work to get to that final goal. So yes. Now, how do we pick this music? We live in a time now where back in my day, this was not possible. So now we have YouTube, we have iTunes, we have Spotify, and a whole bunch of other music streaming services. So what I suggest is that the students should go to the UIL list, which you can get online for free. Just go to the UIL website and look for the solo ensemble contest materials that they have listed and have approved for your instrument. My instrument is trumpet. I teach trumpet players, and so I already have on my computer. I download it and as a spreadsheet, and I go through it all with my students and help them pick what's most appropriate for them. So yes, we want to go now. The second step of this approach to picking the music kind of counteracts the first step. But I really believe the first step is important. So I want the students to go and listen to as many of those solos as possible. There is a time constraint. But you know what? There's a time constraint for this year. For next year, if you're not a senior, for next year, you have all year now to go through and listen to every single one of those solos until you find the ones that you like the best. But anyways, we're dealing with this year for now. So I know that you probably won't have time to do this with every solo. Anyway, so the next step, after you get that spreadsheet and you look them up on one of the streaming services, start paying attention to which ones resonate with you the most. Start paying attention. What pieces make you happy? What pieces move you? What pieces touch your heart? Those are the songs that you want to mark down as being of interest. And you want to have about 20 of those. So take those 20, and then the second step is to look at the music. Now, not everywhere you can't. There aren't a lot of places where you can go to look at the music. Sometimes bands will have the music store come into their band room and set up all the music, and you can browse through it. Another option is to go to the store if you have a convenient store that has all the music. But you know what? They are beginning to have, like sheetmusicplus.com is starting to give you options of looking at the music before you buy it. So, but we want to do that. We want to find some way to get our hands on that music so we can find out what it looks like. We want to, now this is the second part. We want to choose a solo out of those 20 that you said you like that is just a tiny bit beneath your skill level. And I shouldn't say skill level, it's skill levels, plural. So, and for example, if the song is in a key that you're not used to, now my students, we do learning the keys a different way. We don't just learn scales. All right, so my students know when they can play a key and when they can't play a key, according to my system. But if all you do is play the scales, you may know all 12 of the scales, but you can't play in all 12 of the keys. That's the problem with the scales. The way they are, it's just a skeleton of the key. One of my future videos will be about the tonalization studies, which is how I teach my students what the scales are. And, you know, when you do those, you don't have trouble with the key after that. So we want to look at things like the key, the style, the range. If your range only goes up to G above the staff, don't pick a solo that goes up to B flat above that, or high C. And that's what I was saying earlier. Don't pick it because you want to strive for that. That's not how it works. Strive for that in your other work. In your lesson, you should be moving forward on all those subjects. That's where you make your progress in your skills. You know, think of it this way. whether you have those skills or not, preparing a piece takes time. There is time that must be invested into learning the piece, especially if you have to memorize it, right? If you add to that time the amount of time that it takes to learn a new skill, you may not have time. So keep that in mind. For another example, if you can't triple tongue, don't do Bride of the Waves. Don't do Carnival of Venice. Learn how to triple tongue this year and coming back and do one of those songs next year. All right? So that's the 2 points. Choose the music with your ears, and then from the 20 or so that you choose, pick one of those that's within your skill level. Something that's challenging, but just beneath what you're capable of playing. That's what I have for you now. I have planned 4 more of these solo and ensemble contest videos. Now, if you would like to hear more about preparing the solo, today's video is just about choosing the solo. The next one would be about preparing your solo. And then number 3 would be choosing an ensemble. And number 4, rehearsing your ensemble. And number 5, what you should do at the actual performance. So here's what I'm going to do. Because this is the most busy time of the year for me. I'm a professional trumpet player. I also teach. I've been teaching in Texas since 1980, teaching private lessons. So I've been around the block a few times, not only as a trumpet player in the school system. I'm a product of the Texas music education system. But I also started teaching lessons in 1980, and I've been teaching lessons all this time. Okay, so I know what I'm talking about here. Anyway, so my point is, if you would like to see those other videos, then I'm going to ask you for 100 thumbs up, 100 likes before I make the second video. If people aren't interested enough to like this video, then I can't use my precious December time to make a new video, okay, on this subject. So I would ask you, please give me a thumbs up on this if you would like another video on this topic, okay? I want 100. Once I get to 100, I will make and post the video on how to prepare your solo, okay? That's all I have for today. Choose the music with your ears, and then pick the music from within what you choose according to what's beneath your skill level.